Hi, today is day 3 of the Red Dragon wave spell, and we are on Wednesday, the 1st of April 2020. The sun is in Aries and the moon is in Cancer at 13 degrees, and I'm just going to read that for you. Many voices singing different songs at the same time. When you touch into a place where timelessness prevails, you're greeted by all the many selves simultaneously here now. If you can make room for them all, the music they make will prove to be innovative and extraordinary. But if you start to have preferences for some of them over the others, they will compete and clamour and generate dissonance. It takes a generous and wide open spirit to be able to contain all that you wish to bring through. It's so easy and tempting, so hard to resist thinking in those ways that label parts of self wonderful and parts of self terrible, parts of the world optimal and parts of the world trouble all the way. And if you take the overrich mix of your greatly full nature and start to pick apart the pluses from the minuses, a volatile, seething and quite overly fermentive brew will be produced. You cannot afford judgments and arbitrary distinctions, biases and special tastes when facing a larger-than-life world which can come together only if you have no idea how and let the music play, however it will. That is aquaorfire.net with Inside Degrees, and is an amazing tool to use, especially in your own chart. So today we are on the 3rd day. As you can see, we are on blue electric night. So in every wave spell of 13 days, the 3rd day is the day of alchemy. So yesterday we had white lunar wind, and the day before that we had the initiator of this 260-day cycle, which is red magnetic dragon. So yesterday, what did you do? Because that was the new learning, that was key from what comes from the heart, from the spirit, from the new learning around truth. Planet is Uranus, what's coming to light. I did another video on Red Dragon Day. That was the initiator. What you did on that day was what you're going to be working with for the whole 260-day cycle. So on a personal level, we went out, me and my mum went out. My mum is staying with me. There's just me and her. And in our home during this very surreal time. And so on the Monday we went out shopping, and how that made us feel. And for me personally, it didn't feel great at all to be out in this new world that we're in. And how different it is to the world just a couple of weeks ago. So we're only a week in actually to the sanctions here. So yeah, just experiencing that and going out. And in contrast, yesterday we were at home all day. It was lovely weather, and we were doing things in the home and doing things in the garden, being outside, and that felt really good. And so again, it's just noticing this combination of day 1 and day 2 in every wave spell. And by the time you get to day 3, that's the day of alchemy, where you take those 2 days and you really focus on what you're wanting to create for your conscious dream this year as a conscious dreamer. And in terms of alchemy, this really is about focusing very, very specifically on your own personal code and your own personal life. So day 1, planet is Neptune, red dragon. Where is Neptune in your chart? What's happening on the planet? Day 2, Uranus. Where's Uranus in your chart? Where's Uranus on the planet? What are the transits? Day 3, Saturn in your chart. And so if, for example, you have your Saturn in the same placement as me, my Saturn is in my first house. And so it's my mission impossible should I choose to accept it. So again, anything in the first house is really key to working with the self. And the traditional astrological chart, the first house is Aries, which is where we are at this time now. So what we're initiating on our journey right now. In terms of the moon today in Cancer, the last 260-day cycle was in Cancer. And so all of that time from the 13th of July until the 30th of March, well, the 29th of March actually, what was happening for you around home issues, mother issues, nurturing issues. Cancer is in the traditional zodiac, it's in the 4th house, it's the structure of childhood, and so formative for our child self, how we learned to be as a child, how we were defined as a child. This really ties into Chiron in Aries right now. Who the hell am I? That's, you know, becoming very aware of that on a personal level. It is all about the personal. It is all about each one of us knowing our own personal story, our own personal code, becoming very consciously aware about ourselves and how do we get to be like this, and this I that I am, does this serve me now? Does it create loving relationship with the beliefs that I hold, with the ways that I'm being? Check out Gabor Mate if you haven't already. Just Google him, have a look. He does amazing videos on YouTube, and just been watching another one this morning. He really explains it well as to how we have had a human being experience, how all our ancestors also have had a human being experience, and that we embody that. And until we start really working with that on an emotional level, not on an intellectual level, okay? So intellectual level is good for raising awareness and understanding. It does not create healing, and it does not release trauma in the emotional mind. This is so key, understanding this principle and releasing these old stories of trauma so that we can be completely free of them and experience emotional freedom, experience the ability to be a conscious dreamer truly, in order to create the life that we are destined to live. It's already written, as long as we do the work to get clear. This is the fundamental principle. The previous 260-day cycle was in Scorpio. So we've had 2 water signs around death and rebirth, around mothering. With this cycle that we're in now, we're in new beginnings, the initiator, how to initiate a new story on every level, mind, body and spirit, if you're doing the inner alchemy work. The next cycle will be in Sagittarius, so the ability to go through the gateway, and that's in December, when there's some major astrology happening as well. In terms of your own Saturn, you can check out astrodienst.com, and you can do a free natal chart on there. All you need to know is your time, date, place of birth. And even if you don't know your time, you can put in midnight, for example. You can dowse for your time of birth. Ideally, the more accurate a time of birth, the more information that you can get, but you can still get a bigger picture. In terms of the Mayan galactic signature, you don't need a time of birth to do that, so that's really useful as well. So today, the conscious dreamer. I've had an amazing morning of mapping more code. So I've been doing this now for 9 years on a personal level, and this is the key for each person who really wants to work with the wave spell. It's a personal journey. It's about getting off the old merry-go-round and numerology around that, the number 12, for example, by shifting, literally shifting conscious awareness to the number 13. 20 and 13 are the key numbers for the Mayan wave spell. And each day, all you have to do is move the blue tack on your calendar, or if you use digital, just tune into whatever day it is and really start to connect to the universe, to your higher self, to your spirit, whatever, however you see this. Different states of awareness that comes from somewhere else. And again, the paradox of that. So we have our human being self and all our ancestral patterning and all our codes. And then we have a amazing consciousness that comes in, and the more that we get clear of these old stories and patterns, these old nightmare stories, then the more we can embody our spirit and we can start to create a brave new world. And in my understanding, this is what the wave spell is all about. This is what this time is all about. It's about human beings waking up, maturing into awareness about how they work, how their mind, body and spirit works, and using frameworks and tools to really help this process along. It isn't enough to know this intellectually, because just see the evidence of that on the planet for the last 5,500 years at least, how we're stuck in this place and we're not going beyond it. We've gone beyond it materially, we've gone beyond it intellectually, we've moved forward in so many ways on that level. But because people aren't healing themselves, because they're still holding on to old wounding, it makes a human being stuck literally in that computer program, if you will. Because if we don't heal it, then it just keeps repeating over and over, and the message gets louder, and till we pay attention. And that's what I offer you. This is what's happening at this time, is we've got a massive pattern interrupt holding on the planet, where we're being made to be at home, the majority of us. We are being made to be inside for people who don't have outside space. And we're being made to face our own personal demons around how this makes us feel. Once you start to map code with the Mayan wave spell on a personal level, once you reach the age of 52, you have done 4 13-year cycles. And so this is what I do for myself, and this is what I do for my client. And now again, it's expanding into a different level for me. So I have 4 tribes, as everybody does. So if you are a red earth, a white wind, a blue hand, or a yellow human, I'm a blue hand. You're here to create new pathways. And in order to do that, this really means awakening to what has ungrounded us. That's red earth, and that's the planet Uranus. It's what's coming to light. White wind is again Uranus, and embodying spirit, aligning with truth, speaking truth, which isn't always hugely popular with a lot of people, especially people who are full of old wounding story and are in denial and like to scapegoat and like to project stories around that onto the person who's speaking the truth. So that's happening a lot at the moment for people, and shifting through that narcissistic pattern, which can be hugely destructive, time consuming, and decimating, really. You know, it's like being hit by a nuclear explosion where everything just goes flat. It just totally wipes out your energy, leaves you feeling drained, and it's so futile and pointless, a lot of it. But again, this is what we're experiencing at the moment on a lot of levels, and how it makes us feel. So this is fundamental at the moment. Blue Hand is all about being able to access the avatar that we're here to embody by doing the healing work. So again, working with the red and the white and transformation. That's what blue is all about if you're blue. So shaping our destiny by using healing modalities, healing frameworks, and the most important thing, know thyself on every level, mind, body and spirit, how to heal ourselves, how to know who we are, remember who we are. Fundamentally, remember who we are, not who we've been told who we are, not how we've grown up to believe that we are, in a diminishing way, in a limiting way. And yellow human is the philosopher's stone. So it's the embodiment, the grail, you know, what's going on in our body. Our bodies don't lie, they reveal the truth. Blue hand and yellow human are Earth. That's their planet. How we are on planet Earth, how we're shaping our destiny, how we're embodying that as a human being on planet Earth. Now, with the mind signs, the magic thing about this is you can combine them numerologically to work out a co-creation Mayan sign, if that makes sense. So we have planetary patterns, and on the 26th of July every year, which is the Mayan New Year, we go into a different year. So in 2019, we went into White Wizard year. So the tribes for the planetary patterns are Red Moon, White Wizard, Blue Storm, and Yellow Seed. So Red Moon is awakening to authenticity and being the beacon of light. And the planet is Mercury, so embodying our higher self, our God and Goddess self. And this pattern on the planet was from 2006 till 2019. So again, what was happening for you then on the planet? So we can look at planetary history, we can look at what's going on the planet as well. White Wizard came in this year, 2019, and started a 13-year cycle on the 26th of July. And so this is following on from Red Moon, and so refining Red Moon. So this is all about coming into our empowerment. It's the moon goddess, the asteroid belt in the chart. So bringing in new conscious awareness, from old planets that have been destroyed, and these asteroids are being discovered all the time, and they bring in amazing new myths, new templates, new avatars, new archetypes. Then we have Blue Storm, and this is the key for planetary shift, is the human evolution. Blue Storm is Heyoka energy, it's truth-telling, it's the planet Pluto, it's all about the shadow. This time on planet Earth is all about the dark sun and about really working with the shadow that we are projecting out collectively onto the world around all our past wounding, which is why I do harp on about this, because my mind sign is the gateway point. Blue solar hand is in the Blue Storm wave spell. Okay, so all about emotional healing, having emotional intelligence, being able to feel everything again as a sensitive being, being able to feel safe, feeling deeply. So we will be going into a Blue Storm year on the 26th of July 2020, and so we will be in a year of transformation. So everything that's coming up now around our self-empowerment issues, not feeling like we can let the magic flow through us, all these blocks that we've got going on around our self-empowerment, they're going to be transforming on the 26th of July for a year. So this is really key right now, what's happening to us, because we're getting all the prima materia for the alchemy right now. Finally, yellow seed is the manifestation, is the fourth mind sign, and the planet is Jupiter. And at the moment Jupiter's in Capricorn, and it will be going into Aquarius as well. Mars has gone into Aquarius yesterday, and so you may feel a really big shift around that energy as well, because now the masculine energy is really pushing forward as to what's fair and what's good for everybody in community, rather than just polarities. We're in the age of Aquarius now. Saturn's gone into Aquarius and will be there till July. So we're really working with this arena now around what's fair for everybody on planet Earth, because we all affect each other. So yellow seed is all about understanding how we've masked ourselves in order to survive. And so all our coping mechanisms, and how we need to let go of those as the next stage, as and when we're ready to, in order to thrive. So when you co-create the planetary energy, so for example, we are in White Wizard year now, number 1, with your personal code that you're in, your year that you're in. And again, I know it's really complex, and I can't help that. You know, it's just how it works. But over time, you can understand it. And even if you can't understand it, when I'm working with people, what I try and do is I try and pull out the practical information for them and speak it in a language that they can understand. So basically, when you are in a particular year, say as a young person, it has a particular code for you. And you will be going through a transformation time during that year. Different years, again, astrologically, are more significant than others. And so, for example, around the age of 30, we have what is called a Saturn return, which is often very powerful. Around the age of 41, we have a Uranus opposition, which again is life-changing. It's what we know as a midlife crisis. So once you start to really work with these codes on a deeper level, you can then pick out key themes that you're going to be working with. And each 13-day wave spell process has your personal code in it. And like I say, at the moment, it's just going deeper and deeper for me. So today, Blue Electric Night, I have worked out my personal coding around what today means for me. And if you understand the framework of the conscious dreamer, it means that we are literally in a mystery school, and we are going through lessons that we have to learn. We are going through our family history lessons that we have to learn, which is why it's good to know your family tree. It's good to know your ancestry. It's good to talk to people in your family who have this information, who are still around. And my mum's great for that. So we've been chatting a lot over the past week around this information. And so then you can understand that in every day with your code, when it's coming up, you can really work with this on a deeper level. So I've been mapping my codes today and taking them to a deeper level. So what I've already mapped is my whole life, and in terms of each year you go into a different colour. So for me, red earth, white wind, blue hand, yellow human. So I've mapped all my red earth years, I've mapped all my white wind years, all my blue hand years, and all my yellow human years. And now I've taken it one step further, and I have mapped what was going on the planet that year. And when I combine these two together, I get a third Mayan sign, which is, have you guessed it? It's the conscious dreamer code of Blue Night. So for me, my key years are white wind and yellow human, because both of those, when I add up with what the planetary energy is, I get Blue Night code. I've now gone on and made a document for myself, so I've got all my Blue Night codes on there, which again is amazing, because then you can work with linear laser precision as to, right, this was a very significant year in my life, what was going on for me was very significant, and how does that relate to each wave spell? How is that going to come up? And again, so bringing it to conscious awareness, so that today I know, Blue Electric Night for me, what do I need to heal? What do I need to have conscious awareness of as to what created the wound, why it wounded me, how to let it go, and then how to get really clear and free to create something from that clear space. So for me, 1978, and again, this is just mind-blowing for me, because it's opened up two really key codes here, was when I was 13. So I became a teenager. I was at high school, and it was a burner year for me. Now, our Mayan sign appears every 65 days in terms of our tribe. So the codes that I've told you, the red, white, blue and yellow. Okay, so they're known as burner days. And again, to become consciously aware of that, you can really start to work powerfully with that. The other year for me is 2004, which was the Venus transit year, and I was 39. I had a massive code shift then, also another burner year. Okay, so these codes, these times in my life, what was happening that was really amazing, heartfelt, beautiful, wow, yes, I really want to do that, and expand on that, because that's the key. What we feel in our heart, what sets our heart on fire, what feels like joy and love, that's the key. That's what we want to be working off. Never mind what the mind says of, oh, you know, you can't make money out of that, or you can't do this, or, you know, that's a different program. And that has nothing to do with a conscious dreamer in terms of what we're here to embody as our avatar. Remember, most of these amazing new ways of being have not been seen for thousands of years. So it's getting into a healing, clear space to be able to access this and create completely in a different way. Okay, so the way through that, the alchemy of that, is by anything that happened in those years for me that was really wounding and was around old code and family patterning. So it's remembering that at this time, it's unprecedented in living history. And so it is very challenging for the emotional mind. And so again, what I offer you is learn about EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, and learn how to do it. Because that does set you free, and it gives you a powerful tool to use every day so you can really literally transform what we perceive as a negative into a positive. All the triggers, all the problem areas that are coming up right now, you can actively work with those to come into a place of freedom. And other people as well, these are all my papers that I've been working with this morning, other people in your life right now, if you can combine your code with theirs as well. So significant others, so me and my mum, we make yellow resonant human together. And that is the White World Bridger wave spell. So again, White World Bridger wave spell, which is all about letting go of old worlds so new ones can begin. And my mum is here with me to be able to explain family events, and has an amazing memory. And so every time I learn something new, we've been doing the family tree together as well at Christmas. So again, it's just seeing where we came from and seeing what shaped us as human beings, and knowing that we all have to go through this process. We have to go through these basic building blocks, these toddler years. Human beings are in the toddler years right now, where there's a lot of temper tantrums and, you know, this dependency framework that we've grown up with around imbalance of power and conscious creation of dependency programs in order to keep people disempowered, but also, you know, without being stuck in that, in victim mode or blame. It just is what it is. Human beings are what they are, and we may not like that. We may not like those behaviours, and it can feel very challenging at times. All we can do is work on ourselves, become more self-empowered, more accepting. And again, one of the key things that I've learned is how quick I can go from headless chicken, which is my ego, which is my emotional self, which is my child self, into peace. Because when I'm at peace, when my amygdala is calm and quiet and is not running an old program or an old story, then I can actually access information, I can access from source, I can resource myself, and I don't feel that I have to act before I've got time to assess the situation and go within and really know what I want to do next. In terms of my conscious dreamer codes for this current wave spell, this again is something I now mapped for myself. If you are 52 or older, I can do this for you, which can help you work with more conscious awareness. So on each day of the 13-day process, there will be significant code for you. For me, I have 3: white lunar wind, blue resonant hand, and yellow crystal human. And this takes me from 1984 to 1994. This really is my Persephone path, and it culminates when I was 29 and I became a mum, although I hadn't given birth at that point. So again, I've done my codes for this, and I have 2 conscious dreamer codes in there of what's resonating with the dream, what's resonating with the nightmare, and mastery of the dream. So again, I'll be putting up resources on my blog, which is flowwithjo.com. If you'd like to know more about how to work with code, how to do personal alchemy, please do get in touch with me. It will be my pleasure to assist you on your conscious dreamer creating at this time. It's already written that we are awakening. It's already written that we're going through this gateway now. And I totally trust that. So I know more and more people are becoming conscious about their own story and about how to rewire and co-create with the universe on an amazing, magical level. I trust the process, and I wish you peace at this time to discover and remember who you really are. It's an amazing time to be alive, even though it's challenging. Everything is here for us now to make this shift. Lots of love. Bye for now.